without coaches, drafts are horrendous. Everyone thinks about their own lane. People run out of time very quickly.
Yeah, it's solo queue.
Yeah, yeah, unironically.
The worst is when you're 5th pick in solo queue and you're supposed to have counter pick, and then you're like, wait, our comp is horrible. I have to pick for the team now. I've got to try to save our team.
Yeah.
I need to pick this thing that's absolutely awful in lane because my team is like all carry.
We are 4 AD carries. That'll make this work.
Or you first pick Nidalee and you look at the composition and everyone just picks full AP and you're like, holy, what happened, guys? You're supposed to cover me.
Time to go AD Nidalee.
All right, let's see what C9 and Dig are going to go for here in Game 3. Back-to-back weeks, Dig wins Game 1.
Yeah.
They're able to pull it back in the comeback. They're able to win. Game 2, they lose. Pretty one-sided. We'll see if they can get their first series win of the split and what would be their first one since February 8th in this year.
Vi's just available here. It has to be the best jungler in slot, especially with Trundle banned.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think you can go Vi and then, but it's like I don't think Vi's that scary because you can always answer with Naafiri. You can answer like even like Wukong comps I think can be pretty good. So Cassio going to be the first pick here for C9, which we know obviously can go bot, can go mid. And Jayce, really strong blind pick right now.
Yeah, Jayce had previously been banned, is now on the table, and also can be flexed to other roles.
Yep.
I would still fully expect him to be going top most of the time.
But we saw Berserker play at bot.
Yeah, we saw Berserker play bot. We've also seen the jungle flex speaking of an emergency flex. I think they kind of locked in from Lion last split. So we do see the Jayce locked in, and I do wonder if they just end up going by here, they being Dignitas.
And it is actually just so difficult if you're going red side and you're first picking Jayce, and you have a jungler that can play Jayce top lane. Obviously, Denathor has played quite a bit of Jayce. You can play Jayce mid because that has been a pick that Palafox has played in the past and bot lane. It's a 4-way flex, theoretically.
Well, now it's not going bot.
Okay, well, that's the first.
I don't see sticking Jhin in.
That's the first
jingle.
Now I want to see. I want you to log on to a solo queue account. And
you can jungle anything. I'm not telling you it's good, but like in modern league, it is so easy to clear on basically anything. It's gonna be slow and it's gonna be horrible, but you can clear.
It can work. It can work. Ooh, I wonder if there's gonna be a Cassante pick here, just simply because Rumble Vi being locked in from C9. I think you quite literally have to. Unless if you're super locked into the Jayce going top lane, but I doubt that you would be that unflexible.
Yeah, you can flex at mid, flex at jungle.
I don't think Jayce is that bad into the Rumble as long as you draft for the 2v2. But, I mean, I think it's definitely scary for any pushing top laner to be playing against Vi, right? Because you're just going to get equalized and then you have the ult on your head. But Skarner is a great option. I always like Naafiri into it. Skarner is kind of like the more defensive option because it's just there to peel. So yeah, you can't stop the bias. She ults in, but you can time your impale so it lands as she comes down from her ult. You can obviously, Ishtal's impact after that, and you're basically just looking to CC and burst down their front line as they dive in. We did see a Kai'Sa ban last game. I wouldn't be surprised to see, a Kai'Sa ban again this game as someone who could be kind of like working alongside a dive comp.
Yeah.
And if you're a Dignitas side, you're pretty comfortable already within your composition, have like good range with Jhin and Jayce versus Cassio. I think with how much Cassio has been played globally, and even though a lot of our lane matchups have just been much stronger after certain rune changes, she is still an immobile mid-range champion that will be susceptible to all types of pokes. So I do like what Dignitas has so far in their comp.
The Poppy ban's kind of interesting because we're already showing jungle, we're already showing top right, so it's kind of, you're banning it, saying that Vulcan might want to play this into something that we want to play. So that makes me think of like Alistar or potentially like a Rell, kind of like playmakers that you could actually shut down and engage champs.
Yeah.
Maybe, Pyke, but I don't really think Pyke Jhin is that strong. So it's kind of interesting seeing the Poppy ban here.
Yeah, I do like the Galio ban coming out of C9, not only just the lane counter, right? If you are flexing the Jayce out of top.
Counter engage too.
But yeah, also really, really nice counter engage that they would have off the table, and Rakan taken off the table by Dignitas.
Rakan being taken off the table is interesting. I think best board pick for me, if I visualize what Dignitas wants, Alistar is really good. For Ignar especially. And I think it fits the composition quite well. If you actually have a Vi jumping into any level of engage there, you have Skarner, Alistar frontline. but you want to pick Alistar into
Alistar or Rell, right?
Yeah.
Recon. So yeah, Rell might be just the choice. There it is. It's locked in. Really beefy front line.
Yeah.
Alongside Skarner.
No, those are definitely the two I was thinking of as soon as they ban the Poppy, right? You know, you're looking for kind of those engaged champs. If they Ashe would be kind of interesting. I mean, Kalista plus like you can go Kalista Alistar. Funny enough, we were talking about Alistar. Alistar is good into Rell because you can interrupt the crash down pretty easily.
Yeah.
And can be a pretty strong 2v2. Obviously, there are a lot more kind of like standard aggressive ones too. Things like Renata can be a good answer and is stronger for the actual 2v2.
Yeah.
If they want to go that route. So that's kind of like my guess is it would be Renata if they want to go for the 2v2 more heavily. Otherwise, you can go Alistar if you wanted more
Anivia.
primary engage.
Maybe you go Anivia here if you're Palafox. I think you have quite a bit of range.
I feel like Swain goes kind of hard, but
Swain is good too. Swain is very good too.
I'd love the Swain.
I feel like Swain is actually really good here.
Kalista, especially.
Yeah. Lock in the Anivia, baby.
Yeah.
I think you have such a good range composition. They cannot walk into you. I really do not like C9's low range composition. But yeah, well, I mean, I think
game one vibes a little bit where Dig can kind of just CC anyone.
Yeah.
There's also just so much setup for this Jhin to kind of just sit back and free fire, right?
The only question is, I think Dignitas being generally a team that struggles throughout the entire split at being able to connect as a team. You have Jayce, you have an Anivia. Like, those are champions that need team connection with Ignar and eXyu. So, like, sure, they may be great with items grouped up in a 5v5 fight with C9, but the pathway to get there is going to be difficult with a Rumble and Vi if you are uncoordinated as Dignitas.
You also have to be so careful around especially early skirmishes, right? Because all of C9 coming to like first, second, like even third Drake are going to potentially have better itemization. And they just are going to spike earlier. So if they are first to an objective, there is a world where they just set it up so it's really difficult to contest. And I wouldn't want to see Dig dragged into these fights earlier that they're not ready to take.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, I feel like C9 2v2 is really heavily winning as well. You know, unless they're way too far forward and getting CC'd. But it's like Handshake is incredible against Skarner, is incredible against Rell. I feel like they have a lot of good tools in that 2v2. But
I'm giving it to
I
Dig.
still like Dig. I still like Dig's Casters, what do you think?
Dig Summer.
Thank you very much, Lounge. And now we do have to see, is it truly Dig Summer? So far, this series feels so reminiscent of week one, the troubles in game one that ultimately result in Dignitas victory, only to be followed up by a pretty unimpressive defeat right after, where the enemy team bounces back. And now C9 really wants to make sure that this 9-year streak of not losing a series to Dig is not broken today.
And I actually think this draft is fascinating. So there are ways that Dignitas can definitely pilot this and win, but I saw a Twitter video last night from Veigar V2, who is one of the positional coaches for C9.
Yep.
And he was actually talking about, he said it's, I don't remember exact phrasing, but it was like what mid laners know but don't talk about that often. And it's plug and play mid laners versus mid laners like champions that you need your team to specifically know how to play around, and you can't just do it on your own. So the brainless ones would be like Ahri, Sylas, Sakali, like you just play them, you get fed, and you flank. Everyone kind of knows how to play around that. You'll fit in anything. If there's this fight that's happening over Narnia, as Ahri, you're just dashing there and you're being it. That's the, like, you can play this in any situation. Anivia was his example of a champion who you can only fight in specific zones. If you have the right wall in a team fight, that can't be happening while your teammate is flanking. Like, you really have, everyone on your team has to know, which I just think is so interesting, with Palafox stating that he wants to focus on his own game today and how difficult it's been for them to sync up with their teammates. If it works, it's because the team also knows how to play around Anivia, but it's not just on Palafox's ability to play it.
And I feel like, especially with Anivia, like, you're bringing up these characters that can't just be generic mid laner number 5 or whatever. Anivia by nature, by the nature of the champion's kit, because there's almost nothing in League of Legends that doesn't do at least some damage, right? Crystallize is one of those abilities that's from all the way back in old school, in classic League of Legends, where the game had a very different design philosophy. You're talking about a League of Legends where some champions would cast 3 spells and go out of mana. You're talking about a League of Legends that was designed differently, and Crystallize is a relic from that era. This is a pure utility ability. You can't kill nobody with Crystallize, right? It sets things up. It allows other things to kill people very effectively, but the placement of that wall, like you're talking about, that's make and break for Anivia. Everybody's got to be working together.
Can be completely game-changing. And then also pretty bold of C9 here to go with that Kalista Renata. So Tactical is a very confident Kalista player, but I'd say a lot of AD carries are very confident Kalista players, and there's a reason we don't see that much Kalista.
Yep.
Because it's a rather short-range champ. You can get hit with 1 CC and just get turbo stomped, and you don't scale exceptionally well.
Kalista is either Chad or bad. There is very little in between. You're 10-0 or you're 0-10. This champion just doesn't feel like it has much of an opportunity, especially because her damage doesn't scale into late to the same degree that like a traditional carry would. Yeah. Generally, it feels like you're going to dominate or you're going to get rolled over. I do want to say that in game number 1, I think one of the things that impressed me was the way that Denathor was able to use eXyu's cataclysms to find slams for his Mega Nars in the created terrain. And now in game number 2, I'm going to need to see, or game number 3, excuse me, I'm going to need to see the same type of teamwork from eXyu and Palafox. You're talking about Anivia needing proper setup and everybody needing to play around the Anivia. A big part of that setup is, okay, I know that the wall is going to be here. eXyu knows that the wall is going to be here. You get the Skarner slam with the Ishtal's impact into the Anivia wall, and that's how you make plays.
And that's the hope.
Yeah.
And there's not really a tank on C9 this game either. If you remember how game 1 fell apart, it's because they didn't have that clear person who could go in, whereas in game 2, a lot of them could go in, right? Ambessa, Trundle, Silas, or the Nautilus.
And so for Skarner, I feel like a lot of that for Dignitas is going to be, you need to catch them off guard. You need to have Skarner tunnel through a wall that otherwise he wouldn't have a good place to slam someone into for the stun. And then as soon as Anivia sees Skarner get that grab, you throw a wall right in front of him. Boom. He body slams the guy into it. You've got the stun. You've got the follow-up.
Completely agree. I kind of feel like C9 needs to snowball pretty early in this game. Otherwise, there's just a lot of control that comes out from Dignitas. But this is also assuming that Dignitas has that control and discipline to play around the long-range Jhin poke, the long-range Jayce poke, and the snap engage eventually at the right time from Ignar.
And I feel like that discipline subject is something we talk about a lot with our lower ranked teams usually because they don't have that experience in the high pressure situations as much. But for Cloud9, I feel like compared to in the past where we would be talking about top of the table teams as being significantly better with it, I feel like in recent history, in week number 1, in game number 1 today, and then in playoffs of Spring Split, Cloud9 has demonstrated a distinct lack of discipline. And so for C9, despite being one of the teams that is in that top half of the standings, according to pretty much everyone's power rankings, I also want to see them continue to refine that. I think that they've still got a lot of work to do too.
The only patient thing that Cloud9's kind of done all series was the very last fight of the last game.
And we praised it.
And it was great.
Yep.
Good patience.
Love that.
But now, you kind of can't play with a huge amount of patience here with the Rumble Cassio, all squishy, all pretty aggressive laners, especially trying to play through this Kalista Renata, and then Vi just kind of having to go in on her own to make something happen.
Yeah, Kalista is not a patient champion. Kalista doesn't flip on cruise control. Kalista just tries to outrun the cop on the highway. This champion has got to make sure that you're applying pressure.
This was the first pick that Tactical played in the LCS, though. In the Spring Split with Team Liquid, his debut with Core JJ, he popped off on Kalista, eventually giving Team Liquid the confidence that they could run him back in summer after Doublelift moved back to TSM. So it's always been a comfort for Tactical.
And I like the fact that you bring up confidence and you bring up Doublelift, because when it comes to Tactical, I feel like a lot of people will think immediately of that Doublelift LCS tier list from a few years back, where he has Tactical in both S tier and Z tier. Yep. And the S tier Tactical is Tactical when he's confident. He can outplay anybody in the league. He can hard carry the game. The D tier was Tactical when he's not feeling that confident, will end up making blunders that can lose you the game. And on a champ like Kalista that we've already been talking about how quickly this can go good or equally bad, let's hope it's S tier Tactical.
C9's hoping it's S tier Tactical. Tactical's hoping it's S tier Tactical. Remember, Loki and Tactical, the additions to the C9 roster after their disappointing finish to a roster that never lost in the regular season. C9 lost in week 1 to Team Liquid, currently 1-1 against Dignitas. But as you can see with this 3-lane cam, very aggressive laning bot lane. The Cassio early game against Anivia will get push, and then it's pretty hard to get pushed this early as Rumble into Jayce.
Yeah, Dig doing a good job there, at least getting a little bit of damage back onto Ignar's, or onto Vulcan's Renata, excuse me. Vulcan very wisely did not choose to use any abilities or auto attacks while he was initially stunned underneath that turret. The Deadly Flourish would have surely guaranteed his demise within that range. But yeah, Ignar and FBI just got to play to clear out the waves here as Ignar flashes away to avoid what would have been a lethal rend.
Heal and flash for nothing, so C9 already putting a lot of pressure down in the bot lane, and Blaber just going to take bot crab off this pressure. Might consider a dive. This is a barriered Jhin.
This is
trying to leave.
FBI all on his lonesome. Vulcan's got Blaber right behind him here. The Vault Breaker's already found the target. And FBI, he's not going to spend either one of the summoner spells. He knows he's dead in that situation. Yeah. Honestly, great job from C9 using that early control over the bottom lane. Thanatos with a flash away from the Ishtal's impact up here on the top side. Avoids any further pressure from Dig, but they'll get that summoner spell at least. Cloud9 up to an early lead.
I do feel like if FBI flashed the initial Vault Breaker, he probably lives. But once it connects, I think C9 could have flash followed for the kill. So that's spectacular for C9, the outcome there.
I think that Vulcan still had the handshake available. So if FBI flashes, you just get handshook right back, and you might not even have to flash in return, which is probably what he's going for. Like, I just don't want to spend it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, you know, there's always the what-ifs. Maybe I could have got away. Obviously, in this one, FBI is saying he doesn't want to risk that. As Ignar, nice stop on the recall from Vulcan there. I mean, get something back, but now he could be in danger himself. Tactical keeps hopping and skipping forward. The Rend at least gets a target.
This is wild.
eXyu wants to jump in. Yeah, this is kind of crazy. Tactical doing a good job making sure that Vulcan doesn't get grabbed by the Ishtal's impact. So Vulcan is still stuck in lane down here. eXyu is still hanging around nearby. Does have his rock ready to throw. Ignar steps forward. FBI eats half his health bar and damage from the turrets. Tactical goes in and Ignar goes down. Dignitas at least finally gets the kill back on a Vulcan as Tactical tries to stay alive against eXyu, who gets a double kill, but now he's going to die to the turret. Okay.
It's a brawl.
Yep.
It's a bloodbath in the bot lane.
It's a bar fight in bottom lane.
Blaber's real fed off of this because he's just been farming camps. But let's watch this. So Vulcan has his heal burned in this initial engage by eXyu after sidestepping the Skarner. And then, crucially, he still has Guardian here. So when they go for this fourth shot, it doesn't actually kill him. He's in range of the Guardian, you can see right there, gets the Guardian shield, is able to actually live this out. Then Tactical, it's just crazy. Why is it? Vulcan's still up there, probably trying to avoid the Jhin damage, but if he stays under the turret, he doesn't get killed by the flash Skarner, and they can walk that one out. A few mistakes and a few outplays on both sides.
Yeah, that was quite a crazy one. The biggest winner here is Tactical, who is up 700 gold over FBI now, as C9 will also take this chance. They are going for another early first Drake, just 5.5 minutes on the clock. And C9 will secure this one. Easy breezy. That's going to upgrade Blaber's smite there as well. Not super valuable with tenacity and healing shielding power 5.5 minutes into the game. But again, you're stacking the soul pressure. Last game was something that worked heavily in C9's favor, and they're off to a good start with it yet again.
Yeah, pretty great start from the bot lane. And I'm really thinking Blaber's put up in a good situation to impact the other lanes. Like a Fed Vi flying side lanes into Jayce makes it really difficult for Jayce to play side lanes, and then can maybe snowball the map, which is what I think C9 has to do. They have to snowball this game to win.
And eXyu is looking at topside here yet again. We'll find a control ward, seeing him with that attempt. Thanatos' flash is still about 1/3 of the cooldown remaining before that's ready to go. So they want to try to punish that summoner spell that eXyu got last time, but Thanatos will not give them the opportunity. And once more, every time we pan down to bottom lane, it's Tactical and Vulcan with total control over this 2 versus 2 head-to-head, as Ignar and FBI going to go back up. See Blaber stealing away the blue buff from eXyu's side of the map. eXyu is doing the same thing on top side.
Map, going for a return gank here.
Yeah,
no flash.
Remember, Thanatos still without that summoner spell. He knows there's no way out of this one. eXyu just playing the patient game, and they even give the kill over to Denathor. Nice work from Dig.
going to want to get Denathor fed here. You're not running around bot side, and being able to have a map split there, taking blue for blue, but then being able to get the successful gank is definitely advantage Dignitas here.
Yep, and another advantage here for Dig, when you're playing something like Skarner, just a big spongy ball of health, the Protoplasm Harness is so strong as a first purchase. This thing is cheap as dirt. The active on it is so powerful when it procs to just give you healing that will get you through a lot of situations where you'd otherwise be dead to rights.
Okay. If I can be at my blue, okay?
I don't have one bot.
I need to get 6 here, and then I'm going to base and come bot.
Yeah,
he's on blue, he's on blue. Okay, we can actually look top one more time then.
Yeah, the ball looks like they're basing.
I'm not 6 yet.
I think better not to, no?
Can you look here? He has no flash.
Okay. I cancel.
I'll get 6 off 1 minion if you kill one.
Guys, Renata based, okay?
Yeah, we're killing top. Top is dead.
He's far away yet. I'm basing here.
You got it? I'll hit him one more time.
Nice.
I like the calls from eXyu there, recognizing he's probably at my blue. Then as soon as you hear bottom lane confirm he's at the blue, they make the play on the other side of the map in response. Vulcan tries to get away from the crash down. Tactical, however, does still have to pull him to safety. Dignitas, with the pressure on the C9 duo, taking away one of the tools the Tactical and Vulcan could use to go aggressive.
And Blaber has a level advantage, but technically, Tactical's down the ultimate, and eXyu didn't spend anything, so we might see a scuffle here for these last 2 grubs.
Okay, grubs, C9 picking up 1, Dig picking up 1, Blaber versus eXyu here with the pit. Nice, using the ulti coming in from Renata. eXyu stays alive with the Impale, but only for a moment. Cloud9 taking the kill on the enemy jungler. And that means they will earn themselves control over the last grub here as well, going up 2-1 in that count as Loki slithers after Palafox. He's already forced the flash away from the Anivia, and the Twin Fangs just pour damage onto the health bar.
That is a very poor fight for Dignitas and their overall state of the game. eXyu gets caught out, and then if we're talking about fights that Anivia can and can't take, that's not a zone Anivia wants to fight in. After the jungler's dead, in the river, completely alone, unable to section off the fight, Palafox has to burn his flash. But just watching the start of this one more time, like Tactical and Vulcan can just push FBI out of the fight entirely. That's a 2v4, actually, if you don't account for the curtain call, which is all hitting into Vulcan. Easy kill onto eXyu, and then pretty easy for Loki to then run down Palafox afterwards as well. So big advantage there gained by C9.
Yep, C9 loving that one. Little over a minute on the clock until we get to Dragon number 2. As eXyu's down here in the bottom side, walks right past the control ward, but Ignar also on the potential wraparound play. Tactical has both summoner spells available, ready to go here, does get stunned up. Vulcan doing a good job trying to block that deadly flourish. Tactical stays alive thanks to the bailout, and FBI, the gun spinning, but C9's winning. Beautiful timing there from Vulcan to keep his AD carry alive, bring him back from the grave. Nicely done. C9's up 2,500.
That's the combo. That's why you play Kalista Renata. You pop the bailout onto Tactical. The Rend Spears get to stay there, and then he can save his own life by taking theirs. So watching this, you know C9's trying to play for the outplay. Tactical doesn't step back into Ignar, buys a lot of time, tanks the W. Vulcan blocks Tactical, which buys time, and then really good timing on the bailout. Easy execute for Tactical, and then just the spacing at the very end here. Cheeky little Q at the end as well to get the next kill.
Great positioning there from Tactical.
Nice, guys. Good shit.
I want to go mid?
Yeah, I'll go mid.
Good. Flash.
Great foresight from Vulcan, knowing how long he needed to hold it, timing it exactly where it needed to be with that bailout. Honestly, very well played from the bottom lane duo of Cloud9. Happy to see it. And you know what? That's just going to earn them more control over the bottom half of the Rift. They will continue to run the show when it comes to neutral objectives. They will take Dragon number 2 with no contest. So they've won out 2 out of 3 grubs. They've got both of the early Drakes. There's still no Rift Herald to even speak of for another 4 minutes as Dignitas is looking to make a move up here from the top side. Thanatos is your target. Flash Frost follows the Impale for some chain CC, and Denathor goes in, committing the flash to guarantee they've got the damage to get the kill. Meanwhile, back over in mid lane, FBI will fall to a counterplay coming out from C9.
As long as Thanatos doesn't tilt, the team is in a good state, but he is getting heavily weak-sided this game. The map has been split against them. There were repeat ganks by Skarner early, then 4 people got sent to him, but while that was happening, his team killed the enemy AD carry, they killed bot lane, and they took mid plates. So C9 gets the advantage there, but Thanatos goes down once again.
Thanatos, your job this game, Thanatos is playing Helldivers. He airstrikes the team fight at the beginning, he's done. That's it. Everybody else, they're in the position to carry. Now Denathor's in a little bit of danger. Very nice Renata ulti flies through, hits 4 overall, but Tactical this time is not going to get bailed out. He didn't have the damage to kill off Denathor, so Dignitas gets a big punish. They'll knock down both bottom laners on C9, who are too far forward.
Oh yeah, they were really too far forward. Where did they think the opponent was going to be? I mean, they're that close to their base. C9 did not respect the tempo there, and Tactical and Vulcan just thought they were going to be superheroes. Let's watch this one more time. I mean, Blaber is taking the blue. He's dealing with Ignar, so he's going to win this smite. But they're flying in for this onto Denathor, and I guess everyone on Dig was on a reset, and it's a little bit fortunate that all 5 deploy bottom lane, but once they do, that's like a 5v3. So it's not even close. They collect the bounty from the Kalista and pick up an additional kill onto Vulcan.
I mean, the spot of the map that they're fighting at is really sick if you're not outnumbered 5-2. The hostile takeover hit like 4 targets. If there was anybody else around, that could have been the crazy play that they were dreaming of. But when you're 2v5, I mean, numbers mean a lot in League of Legends.
One of those things like, if their whole team wasn't there, it was a good play. But like, unfortunately, they were actually all there.
If we weren't walking into an ambush, this would have been sick.
Would have been so surprising to them.
If they weren't ambushing us, our ambush on them would have gone crazy. But unfortunately for C9, they do end up getting a little bit punished there. However, they still do command that 2 Drake lead with a 2,000 gold icing on that cake, as Denathor barely staying alive for now. Does get a good knock away, but the Twin Fangs ultimately find the kill. Dignitas now trying to fight out however they can. Ignar with a flash over the wall to stay alive, but eXyu won't be able to say the same. Even though he had that protoplasm harness, that's not going to matter. And now Vulcan will tank up the turret damage as Blaber goes on a killing spree. C9, 4,000 gold ahead. Jatt, it's looking exactly like week 1 for Dignitas.
It absolutely is. Win 1 game to give Palafox summer a short summer, and they're doing it again. 4,000 gold. This time, their ambush was correctly not counter-ambushed. It was an even number ambush, and they're able to win this one. Cassio just put up so much damage in that fight. Loki delivering the pain. They didn't even have Tactical or Thanatos there, and managed to pick up all 3 kills in the 3-for-3.
Yeah, this is starting to get pretty dire for the Dignitas boys. The only one that really has a chance to bring them back from the precipice of doom is Denathor. And C9 seems to be thinking the same thing, trying to make a play on that Jayce, but now they've got to be careful. Reinforcements showing up from both sides here, as Loki is going to see Ignar also jumping towards the fight. eXyu backing away now as Vulcan and Tactical are ready to join the mix. eXyu eating multiple Twin Fangs, again trying to disengage, has to flash for the extra little bit of distance. Hostile takeover. Tag 2. eXyu and Palafox in danger as the Flame Spitter is cooking the Skarner, and he will burn down. Thanatos gets the kill on that one as the curtain call opens up from FBI. Trying to find some valuable targets here. 4th shot going to get saved, but it only finds Vulcan. Caught on the wrong side of the crystallize, but there's no damage. Ready to follow it up. Ignar continuing to bluff that he might go forward, but C9 knows there's nothing left in the Dignitas tank, so C9 will walk away 1-0.
Long fight, but again, eXyu falls. He's now 5 of the 6 deaths for Dignitas in this one. Even with the protoplasm harness, they can kind of just run him down. So potentially fortunate they didn't lose more at the start of this play. You can see Blaber just getting a lot of damage down onto Denathor, and it's just a slow trickle of everyone flying into this fight, but eXyu can't land anything with his E, and then is kind of stuck in the fight. And now is where C9 just starts running him down. Tactical up on the top side, does a little bit of a 1v1 with the Jhin, trying to find a flank angle that's getting blocked. Finally, though, the hostile takeover catches eXyu, and the Liandry's burn is what finishes eXyu off.
Yeah, adios, Mr. Skarner. Thanatos getting a little bit of revenge for all that attention that he was given during the laning phase of the game. But 16 minutes on the clock means Dragon number 3 is live. C9 have controlled the first 2, and eXyu is going to start off the 3rd, but Dignitas do not want to commit to this.
Yeah, I got a little confused. eXyu's not 5 of the 6 deaths. He's 5 of the 11 deaths. C9 has 11 kills. That changes
still,
the context.
That's still half of them, though.
It's still a lot of deaths.
It's definitely not the best game here from eXyu in this 3rd one of the series, but Dignitas still having control over the Drake right now. Blaber thinking about using the ball breaker to jump on in, but no, the Drake is already secured by eXyu. Dignitas got the objective and disengaged with no losses. They'll be happy.
I mean, that was really nice by Palafox. Wall, alt, hold it for 4 seconds. Drake's gone, run away. They're going to lose a few plates mid, but from a 4,000 gold deficit, to not let C9 in, big win.
Yeah, I think that's honestly huge, and that's kind of what you were talking about earlier. The team has to know how to play around the Anivia. If Palafox says we're drawing the line here, this is, if they come up, don't engage them, we're just keeping them away, that's good.
Yeah, the bad example is he throws that up and then Ignar's like, I see an angle.
I will go over the wall.
Flies in from the side. Didn't happen there, all good.
Red Rover, we dare Ignar over. Luckily, he didn't feel the call of the void on that one. So Dignitas will, they'll stop the potential soul threat here, but they do have bigger problems on their plate right now. A 5,000 gold lead. Last game, remember, I mentioned around 19 minutes in. Yeah, it's a 1,500 gold lead for C9, but that doesn't mean a whole lot at 19 minutes. 5K at 17 is significantly more worrying, because everybody then, on average, has at least one more decent-sized component item over their counterpart. eXyu is going to be forced away from the Herald pit. It's another game with a pretty late Herald take overall, but C9 still just fine with it. They secure it without a real contest from Dignitas. Everybody on C9 except for Thanatos is ahead over 1,000 gold, and that includes Vulcan over Ignar. Denathor's Jayce remains the only point of power for Dignitas. So I feel like the recipe for Dig, any fight must start with at least 2 accelerated shock blasts hitting valuable targets, or there's just no way to win.
Yeah, it seems like it, or just a big numbers advantage. But right now, C9 is trying to move around the map, collect as much gold as possible with all the strong people. Like, if Thanatos can neutralize Denathor with how far behind Thanatos has been put in this game, it's actually even more than a 5K gold lead in the 4v4. It will be a 7K gold lead in those 4v4. Nice wall, though, by Palafox.
Good use of the Crystallize to make it so the Herald couldn't get all the way away. Loki does survive, but he had to spend his flash to do it, so at least you'll get the Summoner spell out of the otherwise immobile Cassiopeia. Yes, Loki is pretty hard to kill through Seraph Shield and all of the stats on Mod of Ages, but without having that flash, you at least can see the angle to make a play.
Yeah, and I gotta say that this game isn't a freebie for C9. I think Dignitas denying that soul point can be pretty important, because as far ahead as C9 is, they don't have like great tools to win the game unless they can find fights like this. This could be huge.
Okay, Thanatos is teleported in. Blaber goes for the Vault Breaker. Flash onto Denathor. There's your Fed Jayce. Blink and you'll miss it. He's gone. Thanatos taking that kill, as Ignar will be the next to go. The only silver lining here for Dig is that at least it's 19:30 on the clock and not 20 minutes into the game, so C9 cannot immediately go for the Baron right after. But yeah, Dignitas caught unawares on that one, and C9 just get 2 for nothing.
Man, I'm still just, now that I've done the research on bounties, I see how little supports are worth when they're dying. But watching this play happen one more time, the Anivia shows at the top side, teleport flank in from the Rumble as Blaber arrives. Really nice of them to give something back to Thanatos, as Thanatos is actually dead now.
Yeah, Dignitas just gave something back to Thanatos as Loki gets caught by the Impale, but there's no follow-up damage here from Palafox. His egg gets scrambled as Blaber's looking to burst him down. eXyu with the slam into the wall, and the damage from FBI from downtown. Shut down as the 4th shot rains in. That's 3 dead on C9. Dignitas didn't lose a man. Now they got 5v3, only Vulcan and Tactical alive. Dignitas, they might just be going for the Baron. They're down far enough. You gotta take every chance you get to get back into the game. Palafox zoning their opponents away for now, but it looks like Dignitas aren't gonna start it.
Yeah, I don't mind this actually. Baron hits really hard, is worth less than ever, and maybe just take the tempo, get your items, and live to fight another day, because Soul Point is again up in 40 seconds, and the team fight can actually be close now. The gold is closed to 3,000 after they collected all those juicy kills and bounties from Blaber and Loki. That was a very important fight for Dignitas in their attempt to crawl back in this game.
Okay, Dig brought it back down to 3K. It was 6,000.
Yeah.
After the initial play from C9 in the top side where they got those 2 unanswered kills, it did hit 6.0 on the gold difference at the top of your screen there. So Dignitas cutting that down to half. Far more manageable situation. C9 starting up the Baron, though. Knowing that this wouldn't be Soul if they get it, they're saying, all right, Dig, if you want to take Drake too, fine, screw it, we'll take Baron.
Kind of risky here. I mean, if Dignitas push them off, that then gives Dignitas inside track on the next Drake, and they just kind of walk there, and C9 has to stop. Now Dignitas has mid-prio. let's see how well they can control these zones with Palafox's Anivia, if he can just stop them from walking in or get a pick. Oh, he gets hit!
Yeah, that's a lot of damage on Palafox, and he's already dead. Now eXyu's about to follow. Dignitas, right when it looked like they were in a decent spot, it all goes to hell, and the fire is hot. Dignitas lose 4.
Remember when I said a lot of times the mid laner can know how to play Anivia, but the team needs to play around it? This is one of those cases where you got to play the Anivia better. Yep. He steps straight up. He's so tunneled on the pick to get Vulcan. Vulcan then, former Spring Split, actually Spring Split MVP right here, does land the pick onto Palafox, but Palafox is way in front. You don't need to do this. They can just play in the river, prevent them from walking in. He doesn't have egg either. They get one shot, then Tactical can just take over the fight on the back end. Blaber can full send it with Loki. They have so much damage once the person who's going to stop them from diving is dead. So now it's back. It's back to 7.
Yeah, this is the slingshot giveth. But the thing is, when you pull that thing back, eventually the rock goes flying the other direction. And now Palafox, the handshake just brings him into his own doom. Denathor, he flashes, he escapes. But with Palafox already dead, C9 once more has the green light. Just like you said, Jatt, when the you can't engage champ is dead, guess what you can do? You
Kill
can
them
engage.
All. They all dead.
And eXyu is going to be a very scorpion-shaped pincushion right about now. Tactical gets the kill on that one. So C9 still with Baron, pushing up even further. Yeah, Vulcan's low. He will not die to that shock blast as Blaber goes all the way in with a cease and desist. Denathor dies, FBI follows, Petrifying Gaze isn't even needed. Now, yeah, you're going to have Palafox alive here in 10 seconds. You're going to have Ignar right beside him, but neither one of them will be able to punish Loki, who with his accelerated empowered recall just goes ahead, heads on back to base. Tactical's going to take the bottom lane tier 2 turret. It's a 10,000 gold lead for C9.
He's snowballed. He's got the full build Kalista right there, Static Shiv, Ginsu's, and then the tankiness, Jack Show. So he is flying through these team fights. Blaber just full sending it, and Loki having his best game of the series. That was an insane dive they pulled off at the end there. You can tell they're brimming with confidence. Even after some missteps, they had some of those missteps in the top lane, but they're back on track now.
It's looking like the 9-year streak will continue here for C9.
Perhaps.
Perhaps. You know, Soul Point with an 11,000 gold lead. One could fathom the outcome that C9 walks away victorious here. Dignitas quickly running out of options, and unfortunately, that one yellow bar on the scoreboard, that one advantage that Denathor had has now been erased. Even Thanatos ahead of his counterpart as eXyu has to continue his retreat here. Yeah, he's got Kanik Rooker and he's got Protoplasm Harness, but he doesn't have much of a chance if C9 Focus fires him as they continue their push forward. QSS purchased for Tactical on the Kalista alongside that Jack Show you already mentioned. Just makes him so damn hard to kill. As now C9 going all the way in. Blaber deep into the back line there with the cease and desist as Palafox brings Blaber into a compromised spot, but the rest of C9 is so strong, they will just force their way into the enemy base. The curtain call may have opened up, but it's not finding much of a target here. Fourth shot being saved all the way to the end. Yes, it hits Loki, but it's not going to threaten anything lethal as C9 force their way through the top lane. They'll find that top inhibitor first and back themselves away right after, not losing a single man.
One inhibitor down. Vulcan's had a great Renata game as well, I gotta say. If we think back to the game-swinging fights, it's really been Vulcan landing crucial handshakes or having the perfect timing on his bailout.
I mean, I voted Vulcan player of the game in game number 2 because he got that critical hook onto the Akali right before the Dragon Soul, and I feel like that was the game-winning play. The way that this one is going, if the Nexus popped right now, I would vote Vulcan again. I just feel like his playmaking on these champions that are meant to make plays is so impressive. And he also had a lot of pressure with the Camille in game number 1. He wasn't the one pressing Realm Warp, so I'm not going to blame him for the outcome of that game. I think that Vulcan has had a very impressive series overall. 12,000 gold lead for the team. C9, all they got to do is make sure they wrap this one up clean.
And the crazy thing about Vulcan is he's been doing it for so long. We heard from Leo, our stats guy, that he's pretty close to passing Aphromoo for leader in all-time LCS assists. So that's probably going to happen this split if he keeps it up.
Well, Blaber's immediately leading the charge here. However, he may have gone a little bit too far. Resurrection will come through as the Guardian Angel is required. Everybody on Dignitas just camping the corpse, making sure that Blaber can't get out. And right there, it was shades of game one, kind of just C9 getting overzealous, Blaber flying in there without the proper coordination from the rest of the team. So that's at least going to slam the brakes and the push for now. But by the time Blaber's back alive, Jatt, we're only going to have about 45 seconds on the clock until the Baron spawns.
True.
So I feel like we're going to see teams setting up for that. You can see the Scuttle Crab already secured by C9.
I'm in all range, Thanatos.
Yeah, I know. I'm here. I'm ready to go.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
I ulted
Skarner.
Oh my god.
Don't be too cocky here, guys. It's kind of dog shit.
I think it's not good.
Can you guys take tower?
Click turret a bit.
Okay. Hit tower a bit.
Yeah. Carol.
Give him level.
I ulted the wrong guy. Okay. Sounds good.
Sounds good.
At least you have a small shutdown this time.
Yeah,
Don't be too cocky here, guys. It's kind of dog That is...
Kind of.
Honestly... You know what? They said it, not me. I'm just going to say I concur with the pros.
I do realize the more we hear from Vulcan, he's like the #1, like really passive-aggressive flame. Like, well, at least it's a small bounty this time. Because last time it was a big bounty.
You didn't give him 1,000 gold.
And remember the 9-year streak of Dignitas not beating C9 in a best of 3. This is why you have to say perhaps it will not continue. Because of things like that from Blaber. Come on, man.
Okay, we've shrank the gold lead from 12K down to 11. It's the basketball poster. He hits a sick 3 to shrink the lead down to 45 or whatever that was. All right, let's see. C9, they're on the Baron. Got it down to about half. Remember, they got Kalista. There's no world where eXyu should be able to steal this away as long as Tactical and Blaber are coordinated. Curtain call opens up. FBI shooting a couple shots over the wall. Baron secured by Tactical and C9. eXyu is stuck in the pit for now. We'll take a little bit of damage, but Blaber being low with no Guardian Angel, he doesn't want to overcommit onto just a Skarner. The Dragon is going to spawn here in about 10 seconds. That is Mountain Soul. Meanwhile, the Wrecking Crew is doing some home renovations up in the top lane, and Dignitas didn't sign off on it. Those turrets are under a lot of pressure here at the Nexus, and as FBI takes the recall, that means Dignitas are not interested in contesting the Mountain Soul, so that goes over to C9 for free.
He just can't make it. Denathor landed some good poke, but everyone on Dignitas had to reset, so C9 gets to get everything. Baron plus Soul plus a death cap onto Loki. Is this sneakily a tank Kalista, man? 159 armor, 136 MR with the QSS and the Jack Show. It's going to be increasing throughout the team fight. To the Jack Show passive.
Jack Show is kind of like one of those staple, like, you know, you always go like Ginsu's static on Kalista early. You get your 2 like damage items. But then I feel like Jack Show 3rd I actually see so commonly, and it makes this character so obnoxious because she's already so mobile, you can get so much damage. And I think it's also why you have to play so aggressively early, because if you're behind and you're building a tank item to try to do it just doesn't feel that great. But from ahead, this can make Tactical very difficult to deal with. C9, they've already got that inhibitor down there in the top side. It's going to respawn in about 10 seconds. But the problem for Dig is as soon as the top lane inhibitor respawns, the mid lane inhibitor is going to die, and then C9 might just walk it up to top side. The Dignitas defense needs to hold strong here. A little bit of damage into Vulcan, takes him down to about half HP. Thanatos pressuring the bottom lane here, and as Thanatos' pressure approaches the inhibitor turret, that means that Dignitas can't respond in mid. That inhibitor falls, and C9 looks towards the newly respawned top inhib.
Probably going to be a double inhib here, but you can still see, even with a 12,000 gold lead, it's kind of difficult to push into an Anivia, even if the Anivia isn't that far ahead herself. Getting some decent poke down, but they're going to be getting this inhibitor. We'll see how aggressive they get.
Inhib already gone. Blaber under a little bit of pressure here. First 2 shots already missed. Equalizer dropped on FBI's head, means the curtain call is canceled, and the handshake drags Ignar back out of the air mid-crash down. Dignitas having to heal up. Everybody chunked a little bit low as the minion waves from C9 barreling in through both top and the mid lane. Bottom lane also stacking up as C9 will have the resources to take out the last remaining inhibitor turret if that's what they want to do, but the Nexus turrets are already even lower. Tactical going to be focused here early on, but he hops right back over the crystallized wall. First Nexus turret already dead. Second one barely hanging on. Vulcan here on the front line. Vulcan mostly unperturbed as Dignitas continue to scramble, but they're not finding anything. Ignar wanted to make a move, but the Twin Fangs kill him off. eXyu gets a slam into the turret, ruins onto Loki. eXyu hanging on for now, but Dignitas' carries are already down. Denathor knocked over, and there's nothing left for FBI and eXyu. A double kill for Blaber. C9's gonna clean it up nice and easy. 28-11, 16,000 gold lead. C9 takes down Dig for a continuing 9-year streak.
C9 owns Dig, and this was a bloody one. C9 needed to snowball this, and I think they did. We got to see Tactical Kalista make its return here to the LCS.